From the SharePrices.com.au studios, I'm CJ Dore with another market insight, this time looking at BHP. Now this chart represents BHP's share price movement for 2016 to date, and you'll note it's a beautiful moving average from bottom left to top right, and it's been a fantastic rebuild for BHP after a horrible 2015. And this rebuild started back in January with a share price of $14.20, which is the lowest low of the year for them. From there, it started to move up through key dollar figures and safety points. We also want to have a look at what happens when it started to breach and go outside of the moving average and started to pull back. Let's start with $15. Found that in January, moved across, up and down a few times, then locked it in and hasn't gone below it since. $16 similar, start of the year, moved right across to April, then found a sweet spot, hasn't moved below that since. These vertical red lines represent the month of April, which is significant for BHP because within that was about a 3-week period where BHP moved through $16 to $17, $18, $19, $20, and at the top of that spike just touched $21 before it fell away. And that's an example of what happened when it was just going in excess of what was a sweet moving average right to the top right here. Let's go to $17. Touched that in early year, moved through it again in that April uprising, then found a sweet spot, hasn't gone below it since. $18 again near the start of the year, went through that again in April, fell away a little, mid-year, locked it in, hasn't gone below 18 cents. $19 also in that uprising in April, went through there and back and through a number of times before it got mid-year and then hasn't gone below that since. $20 is getting to the end of that April growth period where it touched it, moved back a lot, up and above a number of times until recently it found a spot where it's locked it in and hasn't gone below 20 cents. $21, the very end of that growth period where it just touched 21, then pulled back around $3. It was just too sharp a movement in excess of what's been a really great growth average. Then it pulled back to recent times and has found it here, locked it in, hasn't gone below 21. 22, pretty simple, moved through it, never came back since. $23 has gone up, over, and has started to come back down again. Now let's have a look at how it's grown, and it's done it through this beautiful moving average, this channel from its lowest low $14.20 up to its highest high of $23.80 very recently, in recent weeks as we move towards the end of October. That is a $9.60 share price increase from its start point of $14.20 to its highest high of $23.80, or what equals 67.6% growth from its lowest low to its highest high. Now what we have to take into account is a combination of two things. One, firstly, if you hold BHP or manage BHP in a portfolio, do you think it's going to grow another 67.6% in the next 38-week period? It's going to be a tough call because what we know is, here's what happens when it breaches it. It's done it once in January, pulled back about $3. Once in April, pulled back about $3 after it's breached the top line. And it's done it right here, again, at the end of October. It's touched it. Now, if it does pull back again around that $3 mark, which it's done twice previously, it could go back to around $20. It's moved at an average of about 26 cents per week over the 38 weeks up this channel from its lowest low to its highest high. Now, where does it go from here? Well, let's have a look at what kept it in order, and that was this average right down the middle. And you'll note every time it's gone up and over, it's come back a little and then wanted to go back to hold a nice position to the top right. Now, can it do it again? What's going to happen over the next 38 weeks? Is it really going to grow another 67%? It's going to be a big call. If you got in low, tell us where you got in. You can email us at info@shareprices.com.au and mainly tell us, what is the sweet spot? Where do you think it's going to go? Are you going to buy, sell or hold? Do you think it's going to pull back to 20 before it gets right up to 30? Or do you think it's going to keep growing and hit 30 before it comes back to 20? A lot to think about. Big question mark on BHP. I'm CJ Dore from the SharePrices.com.au studios with another insight in BHP. Make sure you get in touch, info@shareprices.com.au. As for now, thanks for watching.